I really don't want to have to make this video. Much like when I first started this channel. Because the topic is going to be very polarizing. And the subject itself is of a low vibration that I don't like to stay in for very long. And so much like the first video that I did on this channel, I'm going to repeat that you don't have to agree with me, nor do you have to disagree with me, as those in polarity are apt to do. Instead, take it for what it is, another perspective in a sea of many. If you are highly polarized and easily offended, you may want to stop listening now. To be offended is a choice. Now, for many people, it has become a habitual choice, but it is a voluntary choice nonetheless. For to say that someone can offend you, to make you angry, is to say that you have no control over your mental and emotional faculties, and that that person has power over you. And if you can't control yourself mentally and emotionally, then you have become, by all accounts, insane, and should probably be committed. So if you ever wonder why the world is seemingly crazy, it's because they are. What else would you call mental and emotional instability? I have no better way of putting that. And as you further train as a magician, the more you'll see and understand it. Because the work of a magician is to know thyself so that you can control thyself. Depolarization, so that you don't lose your mind if somebody rolls up to you and says something offensive. Which is what you see today. Everyone's offended by something. But the main perpetrator of all this insanity is the media. Now, fortunately, the race war terminology that they were using has been downgraded to just plain old racism. I've only heard it a few times since the previous video. And this is largely thanks to the people of Charleston, who should be commended for not melting down like Ferguson and Baltimore. For hating is easy. Choosing forgiveness is hard. And so the people of Charleston should be commended for not succumbing to the hate. But the media isn't satisfied with those results, and so they need to manufacture another controversy. As you find that most controversies are in fact manufactured by the media. And they've settled this time on the Confederate battle flag, which isn't even the real Confederate flag, and was surrendered at the end of the Civil War. But nevertheless, they decided to choose this as a controversial subject, and just like the Chick-fil-A gay marriage controversy, the Confederate battle flag is selling out everywhere that is still selling them. Record sales by use of the law of polarity. The media are masters of shaping and shifting public opinion by getting people to focus on what they want you to focus on. One of the ways they spark outrage in people is to say that something has sparked outrage. Even if the story had just broke, somebody said something or did something, and it sparks outrage, cries the headlines. Well, how do they know? The event just happened and they haven't had the time to get public opinion yet. but the headline will say that it sparked outrage. And because people read or hear that it sparked outrage, they feel that they should be outraged too. No, it's the media that is sparking outrage. That's one of their little tricks. I mean, this is the critical thinking that most people just don't use to be able to see for themselves what's going on. I mean, how can you know if people are outraged if there hasn't been enough time to know if people are outraged? The other trick the media uses is word association. This is very, very similar to what we use in hypnosis with association triggers, which the magician can use to get into a certain frame of mind very quickly. Music is a natural association trigger. You can put on a piece of music and instantly be taken back in time to a certain event or place that music reminds you of. The sense of smell is another association trigger. It's a big reason of why we use incense to help instantly get us into a certain frame of mind. Well, the same type of association triggers can be in the form of words and phrases. And the big one that the media likes to use is racism or racist. They've got everyone hypnotized and believing that those words mean hate. But that's not what those words mean. They've just used those words over and over and over again in association with the word hate, to where people believe that they both mean the same thing, but they don't. And so to understand racism, you have to know what racism means. A racist is someone who views things in terms of race and will prejudge based upon that view. The root of the words racist and racism is race. That's all it means, to view things broken down through the prism of race. And isn't that what the media always does? Facebook only hired 7 black people in latest diversity count. Equal opportunity only means that you get an equal opportunity to get the job, but the person with the best qualifications is still going to get that job. Does that mean that Facebook is being hateful? They just want the best employee suited for the job. Who is the one viewing things through the prism of race? The media. If they came out tomorrow and said that there's too many black people in the NBA, that it needs to be diversified, people would lose their minds, even more so than they already have. Does that mean that the NBA is hateful? Of course not. It's ridiculous. They just want the best players, and rightfully so. All this political correctness is manufactured to polarize you and hypnotize you. The ones who are always crying racist are the ones who are viewing things in terms of race and are therefore the racist. But again, racism and hate are not the same thing. They want you to associate the two together. And by doing so and getting you to focus upon it, they are in fact creating a more hateful and racist world. If the media was banned from even bringing up race, you'd see how quickly things would turn around. There would still be haters out there, but nowhere near in proportion to the insanity that we have today, simply because people wouldn't be focused on it. Everything begins in the mind, and the media's job is to put things into your mind. Why people have not been able to figure this out yet is beyond me. We'll do another word association real quick. The word humane. What does it mean? Well, they like to equate it and associate it with compassion, kindness, love. But that's not what the word means. It's based upon the word human. The word humane simply means a human thing to do. A humane thing to do is what a human would do. It's not necessarily compassionate. We humans are the only species that would chop off another animal's genitals and then say that it's quote-unquote fixed, as if nature somehow made a mistake, because it's the humane thing to do. And they're correct, it is the human thing to do. And you say, well, Frater, overpopulation of animals is a serious problem. Yes, it is. In areas where humans are also overpopulated. We're going to find that a lot of our problems are caused by our own making. But that's a good thing, because if we created them, we can also solve them. And it comes down to us being so out of balance with nature and the natural cycles that we try to force nature to conform to us rather than us conform to it, which is insane. But that's a topic for another video. The point of this one is to show how people are manipulated by word associations and by them just simply changing the definitions of things. This is something the Law Society does as well. If they didn't, they wouldn't need their own dictionary, the Black's Law Dictionary. That's the dictionary you should be using. The law doesn't go by Webster's, okay? They go by Black's Law. Black, color of Saturn. Saturn's law. And the definitions are not the same as what you think they may be. They have been altered. And this is why they say you need a lawyer, an attorney, to represent you, because you wouldn't be able to possibly understand the law. So the manipulation tactics and the deception is through the use of words and wordplay. You have to understand what words mean. And this is going to be key when we get into the law of consent and contract. The Confederate flag isn't the issue, for no matter which side you take, you've still been manipulated into focusing upon it. That, my friends, is the issue. And it works. How many of your social media feeds are clogged with Confederate flags right now? Either for it or against it. It doesn't matter. You're playing with the thing they put in front of you to play with. And although I'm laughing about it, it's times like this, as a magician, that really make me cringe on just how manipulated and hypnotized people really are. But it's an easy fix by just ignoring the media. That's it. That's all you have to do. Whatever it is they put in front of you, no thanks. I'm not going to pay any attention to that. None for me today. And if everyone did that, 90% of this BS would go away. But as long as everyone continues to listen to the mouths in the media, they'll continue to manufacture controversy, division, and opposition by playing both sides, by the use of the law of polarity. So until next time, continue to work on your grounding and depolarization exercises, and take care.